Welcome to FurCast. This is episode 391. I'm your host, Paradox the Red Wolf.
I feel like cinnamon is a lie.
Cinnamon is a hoax.
There are a number of different spices also been sold as cinnamon. Like, I'm learning so much because there's cassia oil, but it's like made from the evergreen trees. But different evergreen trees make different cinnamon. But then there's like cinnamon bark. Then there's like also cinnamon.
Also cinnamon?
Like cassia oil is like called Chinese cinnamon. What is it, like American cinnamon? The other cinnamon that we're like, it's on a cinnamon bun?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't understand why there's so many cinnamons. Or is cinnamon like the flavor that we've assigned to this spice? And it's just in general cinnamon.
I quite like cinnamon and stuff.
Oh, I recognize the smell.
What?
Now that you mentioned it being like Chinese, I've been to like several Chinese like medicine shop. I call it like hoax or whatever, but they do smell like this. Toothpick.
That's used in Chinese remedies.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why I'm familiar with the smell.
Did you try my wood yet?
No. These guys are like smelling toothpicks.
No, you try my wood. It's delicious wood.
Okay.
It is delicious.
It is very spicy.
Therapeutic. Try my therapeutic wood. I just want you to try.
I like how it says right on it, mint toothpicks. Does that mean cinnamon is a form of mint?
I don't know. Mint is a different kind of plant. It's not really actually.
I don't know how spices work anymore.
And I'm your catnip chewing kitty Maruski.
I'm your cinnamon obsessed Hawks host Pharaoh.
Welcome to FurCast. So, a couple things. One, daylight savings time fuckery. Some of you guys have probably already noticed. We're still at 0 UTC right now because North America does daylight savings at a different time than Europe and also a different time than Oceania because fuck you, of course, that's why. I really wish daylight savings would just go away. So sorry about that. But that's okay. So next week, on the 31st of October, well, it's the 31st for us, but it's November 1st for most other listeners when we're live, technically, in UTC time zone. So we're still going to be at 0 UTC on the 31st, which, by the way, is also Halloween. But that is actually going to be the last FurCast episode for a while. That's going to be the season finale. We're probably going to be going on a break for, I would guess, a couple months, because A, we need a break, and B, I'm going to be in the middle of moving. So I'm not really sure. We'll probably do like a Christmas special or something, or we'll do little videos, or I'm sure we'll have something that we'll be doing in the meantime. But yeah, we'll probably show's going to go on hiatus for like a couple months, like a season finale. To patrons, I'm going to pause the Patreon, probably right at the beginning of November. So essentially you can still technically quote unquote be a patron, but there will be no payments made until we come back, is the way I'm going to do that. And then also there's going to be a Friday Night Tracks live stream. That's our music podcast. It's a members only podcast, but the live streams are still public. So if you want some good music, we're going to have some like dancing fursuiters, and there's going to be like DJ sets, and it's probably going to be like a 4 or 5 hour long show of just tons of music. You can check that out. It's on Twitch. I believe it's twitch.tv/Friday Night Tracks. And that's going to be same time that FurCast is, but it's going to be the day before. So it's going to be the 30th of October if you're in North America, or technically switching over to the 31st if you're in Europe, or, well, if you're in Oceania, it's like in the middle of the afternoon or something like that. And then finally, 11 days left until the end of America, or possibly not. Faye put that in the intro. Yeah, we have an election coming up in the States, and we don't know if it's going to go really well or really poorly.
I think either way, it's still 11 days till the end of...
Yeah, either way, 11 days till the end of that.
Yeah, we had a good run.
America, it's fun while it lasted. But yeah. Do the clocks in the USA change November 1st? Yes. So it's the night of the 31st. Basically, it's November 1st at 2 a.m. So it goes 23, midnight, 1, and then 1 a.m. again, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. So it's like we kind of repeat 1 a.m. essentially. As soon as it hits 2, it goes back to 1.
You get a chance to redo it.
Yeah, we get to
It's like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, we get to redo 1 a.m. because humans are dumb and daylight
So if you
savings
kill
is-
someone at 1 a.m. on Groundhog's Day, they don't actually die because it's right at 1 a.m. again. It's like Happy Death Day, you know?
Yeah.
Like everything just restarts again. It's weird.
because you totally can't fill out legal paperwork in UTC. But yeah. Yeah, anyway.
It really sucks for us because the whole hour repeats. So if you're doing like any progress on a story or report,
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to restart. Yeah.
basically after the hour ends, like you just come back right at the beginning and you're like, wait, I just wrote all this, and you just lose all your work.
If you were playing a video game and you were like winning, it resets. But
really
if you're
harsh.
but if you're losing, it resets too, though. So it's kind of like you know.
Basically, you just don't want to do anything in that hour time span until you get to the next part of that hour.
Yeah. Just like don't do anything bad or good because it'll like, you know.
Well, if you want to do bad, that's fine because it's just going to be rewritten. After.
Well, right, but I'm just saying like don't enjoy yourself because it all gets reset anyway. So like even if you're like, oh, you know, I'll just go take a walk and enjoy myself. No, because even that you lose it. So it's like.
What if your insurance expired on November 1st? I gotta think about how
Cat
it works.
logic.
So like, let's say your insurance expires at like 1:30 a.m.
What kind of insurance?
Auto insurance,
Okay.
or a house insurance, let's say,
Okay.
and your house catches on fire at like.
Well, usually stuff goes away at midnight, which.
Because
So
I'm trying to.
keep in mind every time zone in the
Specifically, he got a
States.
contract that ends at 1.
Keep in mind every time zone, as far as I'm aware, every time zone, at least the way we do it in North America, I think, is every time zone switches daylight savings at their own time. Mm-hmm. So technically, for a short moment, depending on the direction of daylight savings you're going, there are two time zones in the U.S. Like the two zones are the same time until it hits the next one, and then they switch.
It's like I'm trying to figure out a way to make money out of time zone differential. With like legal contracts.
I mean, sure, but
You get to only make money twice a year.
yeah, it's like a side gig.
like a side gig.
Only when the times
but-
change.
There probably is some system that actually could be exploited that way. Like most computer systems just use UTC, and then they just display stuff in an offset. But if you're talking about a contract that's written based on a certain time, yeah, technically maybe you could fuck with that.
So like you rent a super expensive gear that costs like $2,000 an hour, let's say, and you rent it for like 2 days, and you're supposed to return it on November like 2 a.m.
Where are you making money on this?
Right? Let's say you're renting a
keep in
super
mind-
expensive camera gear,
okay.
and you're renting like a C600, and it costs $2,000 an hour to rent it.
Okay, here's
but
a better
you rent
idea.
it on October 31st at 10 p.m. and you write a contract saying that I
Keep in
have to
mind,
return it
most
at 2
rental stuff
a.m.
is like minimum or maximum time. So like for instance, like if you rent most things for like 5 days, they just say, oh, that's a weekly rental.
But I'm sure there are things that you can rent based on hourly rates.
I mean servers, but that's based in UTC. Anything technical is going to be based in UTC. That's the problem. You need to exploit a dumb contract, not anything that's based on a technical system.
Pay a plumber by the hour, but make him work midnight till 2 a.m. It's like, I work 2 hours.
Yeah, but most plumbers have a minimum like bill time.
Yeah.
It's like at my company, for instance, we have a 1 hour minimum bill time, especially if we have to drive to a client.
Yeah,
Even
so-
if I'm only there for 10 minutes, I bill an hour.
Yeah, so have them... contract them out to do 3-hour works at midnight.
Okay, and then but then you only get
November
2
1st.
hours?
Yeah, but you bill them for... I only get billed for 2 hours because they technically work from 0000 November to 0002 November, even though they work 3 hours.
So this is what must be called a cat scam.
Yes. It's scam or UT. No, it's
No,
not.
it's a cat scam because you're scamming them. It's you. So it's a cat scam. It's a Maruski scam.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you ever have to do work on your house and contract someone out, do it at midnight of November 1st.
Okay.
Yep.
Could also have sex for that entire hour and then finish like a minute into the next hour and be like, wow, there's only 1 minute sex. That's totally how that works.
Or do a speed run for a video game that usually takes like hour and 30 minutes.
It's elapsed time.
He's a cat. He doesn't understand how time works.
Time zone doesn't affect that. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure somewhere there is an exploitable system that is like badly programmed or something that can be exploited.
But your
like,
exploits are not exploits. All of your ideas of exploits are not exploits. I'm sorry. I need to break this harshly to you.
Damn it.
or like most of the exploits are like, oh, well, we'll spend money, but I'll spend slightly less or something.
Yeah.
That's not really it's not really a money-making scheme.
those
I'm
are-
gonna spend money, but less.
I'm just waiting for Maruski to like somehow figure out, like, he just somehow comes home with like 10 bags of chicken nuggets or something, and he's like, guess what? I got half of these for free because of the time zone change. Like somehow like exploited some point of sale system somewhere, and you just have like bags of something that's like completely useless. Or fibs. I just imagine you come home with like a ton of fibs, but somehow you only paid for like half of it.
Right. I don't know. I'm sure there are bad programmers out there who didn't write their time based on UTC, but based
Oh,
on
absolutely.
like
Yeah,
local things.
it's definitely a thing. But I mean, your chances of finding it and some kind of a system.
Well,
that's-
some guy is out there hacking every single McDonald's POS machine to get free. No, it's not free ice cream. To
Check
find out
if the ice cream machine is up
if
or
the
down.
ice cream machine is up or down. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
It's
great.
amazing.
So if some guy can do that, I'm sure some guy can exploit the time zone differential to get free ice cream.
Yeah, it's like an office space.
What space?
Office space. For every transaction, they take a few cents.
It's also one
Yeah.
of those things where like you're gonna put so much time into planning this that the amount of time, if you had just like worked a normal job, will be offset. So like it's one of those things where it's like if you spend like several hours trying to like get a $10 coupon to work or something, you've also just wasted your own time. It's like, so it's like, how much is your time worth, you know? But get it? How much is your time worth?
Hey, even if I put 2 hours into this, I can say I only put an hour into this because I'll be losing an hour or I'll be gaining an hour.
See, I didn't waste that much time. Kaiwana, quote, I'm sure there are bad programmers out there. Okay, you can stop right there. No, there's no bad program. No,
There's no vulnerabilities in anything.
no.
I don't even know what a vulnerability
There's
is.
no medical equipment running on JavaScript. Come on, what are you talking about?
What is a vulnerability? It seems like a made up word.
Yeah, it's definitely not a thing.
Vulnerability?
It's all a feature, says Snowcat.
Just a hidden feature.
Yeah,
All vulnerabilities are just hidden features. I love that.
yeah.
Oh, I unlocked this hidden feature.
It's an Easter egg.
Or ATM machines still using Windows XP. I mean, that's sort of okay as long as they're on a completely isolated network and locked. The problem is some of them have exposed USB ports. There's actually a great article I was reading recently where they were talking about how like a lot of like ATM breaks, like even though the ATM is running like really compromisable software, the way they break the ATM is still by physically breaking into the ATM and then just ripping the serial comm off the computer and like, you know, Raspberry Pi or whatever, get the cartridge machine to just eject all of the money. And it's like, you know, it doesn't matter how vulnerable the PC is if you're just breaking into the ATM anyway. But yeah. IQ-based discount. Anyway, all right, we should probably run into the roundup.
It's really long.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick roundup tonight, by the way. Or relatively quick. Welcome to the Roundup. Roundup is a segment where we throw a bunch of links at you that you can check out on your own after the show. And fun fact, I actually forgot to open them, so I need to open the links right now. Give me a second. Wait, almost done. I have to open all the tabs. There we go. It's a very short roundup, so there was only a few that I had to open up. First thing in the roundup: hackers hijack Telegram and email accounts using SS7 mobile attacks. This is a relatively interesting article. SS7 stands for Signaling System 7. It is, this isn't an accurate statement, but just to give you an idea, it's kind of like the BGP of text message of the telecom world. Not really, but you can kind of think of it like that. It's an internal messaging protocol that a lot of like carriers use to handshake things like text messages and other communication protocols on telecom systems. And because of that, they were able to gain access to the SMS reset token. So these are things like, when you get a text message to verify logging into your account, which is one of the reasons that although any form of two-factor is better than no two-factor, SMS is probably the worst kind because SMS is incredibly vulnerable, particularly because of just carriers being vulnerable, things like SIM hijacking and SIM cloning and things like that. The point being, if you have a chance to enable a different type of two-factor, you're probably better off doing it that way. And if you get annoyed having to do that as an app on your phone, there are password managers that will also handle two-factor tokens for you. Of course, that really depends on your threat model, because obviously the idea is that you have to know something, your password, and have something, a physical device, like a mobile device. But yeah, point being, if your Telegram account is important and is how everybody knows you and how everybody contacts you, make sure to secure it, because there's lots of attacks out there for even things like the SMS verification. So next, allegedly, where's the bell? Can you ding the bell? I don't know. Allegedly, NASA is about to make a major announcement about, quote, exciting news about the moon.
They finally find the man.
Yeah, I don't know.
The man on the moon.
It is the announcement is apparently Monday at noon, and rumor has it
There are Nazis on the moon.
I was thinking about that too. Nazis on the dinosaur.
No, it's apparently
They made a movie about that. Nazis on the moon.
Yes. It's ice.
That's sure it's not Nazis?
No, I'm pretty sure it's ice, not Nazis, but okay.
It might be ice or Nazis disguised as ice.
Yeah.
They're tricky. They are
out.
very tricky.
Yeah.
You never know.
By the way, next item in the roundup, we finally know what dinosaur buttholes look like. Due to some
I've stayed awake and many nights just pondering this. Like it caused so many
Traumas.
sleepless nights.
Well, in that case, who has a lot of work to do? Our sponsor, twintailcreations.com. You can check out twintailcreations.com. We'll talk about them more later on in the show. But we do have coupon codes that get you up to 20% off on their silicon adult products.
Is a dragon a dinosaur, though?
Is it? I mean, I don't know.
They're like sort of reptiles.
They're
cousin-ish.
like. It depends on your opinion of dragon. That's such a weird statement to say right there. Depends on your opinion of dragons. Anyway, shout out to twintailcreations.com, our sponsor.
Are dinosaurs just dragons, or are dragons just dinosaurs?
Maybe they can learn from this research.
Like, what defines a dragon and what defines a dinosaur?
I love the article. For the entirety of my career as a journalist covering paleontology, I've been wanting to know, what does a dinosaur butthole look like?
We should probably just read this one. I feel like this is...
I feel like we will. We'll do this for the main news segment in just a bit. Well, move on to the final thing of the roundup here. Final thing is there's a new version of Ubuntu out, and it's called Groovy Gorilla. And it has really awesome art. Kind of reminds me of the Disco Dingo art. It's the same artist, by the way. Sylvia Ritter is the name of the artist, in case anybody wants to follow them on Twitter. And there it is, Groovy Gorilla.
But it doesn't look mathematical.
I don't know.
He's an animal art agent.
But they were the ones that did Disco Dingo, which I love. It's so
I like
good.
Disco Dingo.
I know. Isn't that good? That's fucking legit.
I like the gorilla art, but it doesn't follow the standard like Linux art.
What?
You know how like all the Linux animal arts are drawn in like bunch of circles amalgamated together
No.
in geometric drawings. No?
No.
Didn't you notice that? How Twitter logo is also designed.
Well, that's just a general design concept with logos, but even Twitter doesn't follow, like, the circles don't meet up. Same thing with the Google logo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You should show it.
Oh, yeah, the Google, let me see here if I can find a good example. Yeah, here we go. So here's like basically talking about the actual like what would make it a perfect circle versus like the alignment of it and everything.
People have way too much time.
Well, it's one of those things where like they design it to look good, not necessarily to be perfectly symmetrical, because sometimes making it perfectly symmetrical actually
Doesn't look good.
it doesn't make it look good. So there's all kinds of like examples of well, that's just somebody saying something else, but yeah. Anyway, that's the end of the roundup. Well, apparently Jesse liked my sponsor segue, and he said, "Slow down, Linus." Well played.
Yeah, but it also still raises that question: are dinosaurs dragons or are dragons dinosaurs?
I don't know. Why don't we read the article?
See, I used to think that dragons are supposed to have wings, and that's the only thing that makes them like very different from dragons. But
I feel like you could just insulted a lot of dragons that don't have wings.
yeah, but I was getting to that point. You don't need wings to become a dragon. So
Like, what about Chinese dragons?
they have to fly.
Really quick, I just want to shout out the Minute Earth YouTube channel, which made a video on what dragon design is the most realistic based on like what we know about biology.
The best dragon.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Julian from Minute Earth. Dragons don't exist. But if they did, which would be pretty cool, they'd need to conform to Earth's biological and physical rules. So we figured we'd make a fun video about which of these famous fantasy dragons would have the best shot at being more than just fantasy.
So yeah, there's a lot of different.
Okay, I haven't watched this video, so I'm gonna make a speculation.
Can I just say really quick, if you are a dragon furry, I recommend not watching this video actually, because it is incredibly depressing. We're moving on.
Wait, who won that?
I want to make a speculation as to who won.
Okay.
Show me the picture though.
Okay. So here we go.
Um,
So there's, let's see, the Skyrim dragon, the Vermithrax pejorative, the Chizard, Ender dragon.
Charizard.
Charizard. Sorry.
Chizard.
I don't know anything about Pokemon. I'm sorry, or whatever that is from.
Pokemon, it's Charizard.
Hungarian Horntail,
Neuven.
something, Drogon, Monstrous Nightmare, Elliot, Toothless, Valoo, and Smaug.
Okay, I personally am a big fan of Toothless, but I shouldn't base my judgment upon that. Toothless, I don't think can fly that well because of the shape of the body. He has way too much mammal-like feature in order to fly. I don't think he has hollow bones. I don't think he has the aerodynamic body shape. So he would not survive that well being a
who
flying
won?
creature.
Fast forward. Who won?
Oh, hold on, let's see. Wait, this is right at the end of the video.
Well, among our remaining candidates, the most realistic has to be the one with the biggest wings in relation to their weight. And the winner is the Hungarian Horntail from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Hey, there we go. So that one won.
See, my reasoning was right.
Weight to arm length.
Yeah, wait.
Ocean Current says dragons have wings and screw that video on 100%. Wow, a lot of the dragon furries are really mad. So yeah, but anyways, I highly recommend.
If you have arms, you're not a real dragon. You're just a big lizard.
Just walk up to a dragon fur and is like, did you know that you're just a big lizard?
I mean, I call all of my dragon friends lizards.
Wow, that's offensive.
Yeah,
You should be ashamed of that.
yeah.
Lizards don't have wings.
Or yeah. I'm trying to
So would a pterodactyl be a dragon?
like my friend Rocky. I call him a mini dragon.
Wait, that dragon is essentially just a pterodactyl.
So a pterodactyl is actually a dragon.
No, but okay.
Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't a
They
pterodactyl
have
be a dragon?
giant wings.
They fly.
They have giant claws.
Logic. They have giant wings. They fly. That's it.
And they're reptilian.
Okay, dragons are just
Hold on.
pterodactyls.
Quiet.
For now.
I'm gonna just type. I'm gonna use voice search. Are pterodactyls dragons? There we go. Fictional creatures, right? Wrong! Dragons were real, and science has now sort of proven it. Newly discovered dinosaur is basically a dragon. I mean, we know that dragons are based on.
But did
Like-
people from medieval era know about the dinosaurs? Because I don't think they had any knowledge of dinosaurs.
But you'd find bones and you'd say they're
Yeah,
a dragon.
but I don't think they did any research into dinosaurs ever. I don't
See,
think.
look at that. Basically, a pterodactyl's a dragon. National Geographic proves it.
I mean, they kind of do,
The ptero dragon.
they kind of just look like angry bird dragons.
The true Angry Birds.
Yeah, I'd say they're angry bird dragons. That's going to be my new name for pterodactyls.
Mostly because it's hard to spell. I don't know how to spell pterodactyl. It's PT
It's pterodactyl.
Ptera. Wasn't there a...
H.
There was a YouTube video I remember. The
Oh, is it the screamy one?
I think so.
It's pterodactyls.
Paradox search pterodactyl screaming on YouTube. Screaming music.
I know there was a YouTube creator that made an
Not
animated
that
Pterodactyl
one. Not
scream.
that one.
Pterodactyl sound.
No. Pterodactyl screaming animation.
I don't know what I'm.
Scroll down a little. I know what.
You know what I'm
exactly-
talking about, though.
Yeah.
Yes. It was a song.
Well, maybe we can find it during the break. Here, let's read the article about dinosaur butts.
Yeah, I will.
Platypus's helicopter of pterodactyls.
I know there's a famous YouTuber that does it's like a black and white animation,
Yep.
and I can't for the life of me. And it's like
I know exactly what you're talking about, and it
Thank you.
scarred me.
You guys are furiously trying to find.
I
what it is.
need to know now. I know it's like a song.
I think it's literally just called pterodactyl song.
Really, we've been searching the wrong.
Oh, she's gone. She's gone pterodactyl.
She's gone pterodactyl.
Yep. Is that it?
No, I don't think.
No. Okay.
No.
No, because I thought I saw an image of it, and it was like, oh, it's black and white
No,
animation.
not that.
No.
I feel like someone in the chat has to know this.
Yeah, eventually Chad will help us out. All right, why don't we do news?
Why not? Go in there. Just logging into the chat, because I didn't do that before.
All right.
That does a question though. Chinese dragons, they really don't have wings. They just kind of they just noodle through the sky.
They just noodle.
They do. They just noodle through the sky.
I like noodle is a verb for you, apparently.
Have you seen Chinese dragons?
Yes.
How would you describe their air movements?
Noodling.
I can't say it's like warming. They're not inching. They're like wiggling.
It's like a noodle in the sky.
Yeah.
Sky noodles.
Chinese dragons are occasionally depicted with bat-like wings growing out of the front limbs, but most do not have wings. Their ability to fly is mystical and is not seen as a result of their attributes. Okay.
Like, you can call them sky snakes.
Sky snicks.
No, it's not really a snake. They're like a large noodle.
I think it's a sky snick.
I think it's a sky noodle. Or sky noodle.
Okay, but we imagine them flying.
Literally searching sky noodle
plus
comes
they
up
have-
dressed
plus
dragons.
They have limbs.
Search sky noodle. All of the images.
Yep.
Sky noodle.
We weren't the first.
I love how there's actual noodles coming up.
See, here's the thing though. We all first learned about Chinese dragons from Mulan, the movie.
What?
Who?
Mulan.
What do you? No.
No?
No.
I
No?
because that was my first exposure to sky dragons. Sorry, not Sky. It's Sky Noodles. That's how I always imagine.
Mulan.
Yeah, Mulan.
Seriously, that was your first exposure?
To
Oh,
like
there were like tons of cartoons that had them back in the 90s.
I mean,
Jackie Chan Adventures.
Yeah.
right.
Yumo Wei Fai Isao.
I don't know. Or
Isn't there Jake Long, the dragon, or whatever?
Yeah, there's that one. There's a lot of porn of him.
was that like a Nickelodeon show about like bunch of dragons and these two kids who go to magical world?
Oh,
And,
that show is good.
what
I'm
was it
trying to remember
called?
what it was called.
They were Asian kids. I remember that, but none of the dragons
Yeah,
were.
chat will remember that one in a minute.
But none of the dragons were Chinese dragons.
Dragon Tales on PBS.
Ah,
Yeah,
that was
I
it.
remember that one.
It was
no,
not-
I don't think it was that. That's not the one you're talking about. There was Jake Long.
And they all had like gems on their chest or their butt. I can't remember. There was a yellow dragon,
Yeah.
the big dragon, and there was a blue one. He looked like an alligator.
Yeah. There was Dragon Tales. I don't remember the one that was like, it was like them fighting. The one on Nickelodeon. It was like,
Did they fight?
yeah, I thought so. I thought they were like learning kung fu or something.
No, it wasn't violent. It was like very peaceful children show.
Maybe it was Dragon Tales, the one you're thinking of then.
I don't remember a lot of kids show anymore. Yeah, Dragon Tales. You're right. Yeah, and the blue one looks like an alligator.
Yeah. Let me see all the ones for Cartoon Network. Oh god, of course there's a bunch of fun ones, or a bunch of them.
This show is dedicated to dragons. Sky Noodles.
Sky Noodles episode.
Basically dinosaurs. Are those posing as large lizards? Because then Godzilla wouldn't be considered a dragon.
Oh, you pose a very good philosophical question, Faye.
Xylon Showdown. Do you remember this one, Faye?
Put it on the TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the one I was thinking of. It was interesting. Let's see. Are there any in Avatar?
No.
I feel like there would be. The Xylon Showdown inches. Yeah, I remember this show.
I have never seen this in my life.
Really?
No.
I'm pretty sure it was Cartoon Network. Yeah, and there's the Sky Dragon. It was a good show. Let's see. Yeah,
Nope.
it was good.
It was motherfucking pterodactyl. That's the animation.
That's what it's called?
Motherfucking pterodactyl. Pterodactyl.
He the
Yep.
motherfucking. This is it. Oh, the oatmeal.
I knew-
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Pterodactyls here to tear you a new.
I didn't need to see that. Okay.
Hey, it went back to the original conversation that we were having about dinosaur assholes.
Here to tear you a new.
Okay. And that has 54,000 views. Moving on. Can we do news?
Not about it's motherfucking pterodactyl. He's here to tear you a new asshole. He's a motherfucking pterodactyl. Basically a dragon. I'm ready. We finally know what a dinosaur butthole looks like.
Finally. Yeah, I can actually sleep tonight. Now that we know this.
You know, there was a scientist that for years, this was their research.
I don't know about that. I think
An entire life
they
has
probably researched a
been...
lot of things.
An entire life has probably been dedicated to this. We've talked about giving drugs to, like, octopus.
They have like different like
Butthole samples?
consistencies. Yeah, like how tight is it? You know?
The scale of dinosaur buttholes.
Yeah.
Is
That's
it
my life's work.
Is it measured in tightness,
I don't think it's measured
Or-
in tightness.
or is it measured in its radius?
Radius?
Yeah,
Wouldn't it just be closed?
I guess.
I know you're furries, but buttholes are usually closed. They're not like the bag of holding, like much art depicts.
Depends on which day of the con you're on.
Oh my god.
I know it's called Otter Space, but for the entirety of my career as a journalist covering paleontology, I have just been dying to know, what does a dinosaur's butthole look like? When I wrote My Beloved Brontosaurus, a book about dinosaur biology, the chapter on reproduction required a lot of time imaging
Wait,
the
hold on.
nature of Jurassic Park.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Do dinosaurs have cloacas?
Or read the article.
Okay.
That's probably where this is going to go.
Okay.
Because if they're derivatives of birds, and like most reptilians right now, have cloacas,
Okay. Let's go.
which is just called the gross hole.
Yes.
No.
Many of them. Yeah, looks like some of them did have cloacas.
Some.
Unexpected.
Oh, Smithsonian Mag, everything you wanted to know about dinosaur sex. Oh, all right.
Unexpected item in bagging area.
A long article. Oh, look, they get all muddy. How romantic.
My curiosity. It's what I actually want to go to a museum for, Just, wow, I just want to call out culture. You go in the museum and just like, I see all those friggin' dinosaurs and you're like, that's the wrong type of butthole on those. You got to fix it. You guys are phonies.
Dinosaurs shared a common ancestor with alligators and crocodiles more than 250 million years ago, and the modern birds are living descendants of dinosaurs. Therefore, we can surmise that the anatomical structure.
Will you let me read?
I'm just reading this one. This is a different article.
That's fine. Let me read this one first.
Yeah,
we'll
wanna
get
know.
to the conclusion. Stop jumping ahead. You're researching too much. When I wrote My Beloved Brontosaurus, a book about dinosaur biology, the chapter on reproduction required a lot of time imaging the nature of a Jurassic's behind. One had yet to be found preserved. I just picture a fucking dinosaur's ass, like in ice. Like two butt cheeks. Frozen in time.
Scientists are like, perfect.
It's magnificent.
I'd say it's pretty hot.
It's got the tail. There's nothing else of the dinosaur left. It's just the tail and just two butt cheeks frozen in ice. Spread them, we can finally know. Even dinosaur models and sculptures. So Jurassic Park wanted not be found preserved. Even dinosaur models and sculptures often demur on the point of where the dinosaur butt is, leaving the terrible lizards with terrible constipation. It's like an angel dragon. It has no butthole. Now I finally have a clearer view. Clairvoyance. Thanks to a fossil of a horned dinosaur called the Pizzacosaur? Described in a paper online earlier this month. These dinosaurs, which lived over 100 million years ago in what now is northeastern China, were odd little creatures. While belonging to the same branch of dinosaur family tree as the Triceratops, these Labrador Retriever-sized dinos walked around on two legs, had beak-like of those of parrots, cheeks that were each adorned with a flared horn, and jutting from the tail, a spray of feathery-like bristles. And now we know that their buttholes are like those of crocodiles.
Thanks.
The dinosaurs are gone.
Sorry, I just had to play that.
It's rare to get a look at something soft and fleshy on a dinosaur. Unless you order from Twin Tails.
Okay, how? I've never seen an alligator's butthole.
Yeah, it's not like my search research, you know.
Yeah, it assumes sort of like we already know what alligator's butthole's supposed to look like.
You could search that up. I don't want that in my. That's not going in my search history.
Okay. Alligator buttholes.
We know most of what we know about the Pithecanthropus. The same way that we know about things about most dinosaurs. From their bones, durable skeleton parts, bones. Durable skeleton parts.
What about angel dragons?
Yeah, they don't have buttholes.
Yeah.
They're actually, that's how like most dinosaurs are depicted in like all magazines and everything.
Yeah.
They're just void of buttholes.
Yeah.
So they just function on, angel dragon technology.
Angel dragon technology.
Wow.
Including copyright.
Okay. I searched alligator anus, and
You went a little more scientific there.
I don't want to search alligator asshole. And the third picture that I get is technique for collecting of clear urine from Nile alligator. And it's a picture of a scientist shoving like a cotton swab up their cloaca. Thank you, Google.
Sometimes you just need to know how to get alligator urine. The easy way. You don't want to go out there and do it the hard way and get bit, obviously. You need a WikiHow on how to get alligator urine.
Oh my god, wiki. I mean, you
With
imagine
the
the
stupid drawing.
and it'll have like step-by-step
First,
instructions.
procure an alligator.
And don't get bit. And it's like a person like with a pouty face getting bit, and there's like bleeding everywhere, and they just have like a sad face.
With an X on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah, their eyes are X's. Fucking WikiHow.
I love WikiHow. Durable skeleton parts are much more likely to survive than skin and organs through the fossilization process, which involves burial and at least partial replacement of the original tissues. Most of the time after a dinosaur dies, all of the soft, juicy stuff decays. Those soft, juicy butts just don't make it through.
Juicy stuff.
But every now and then, paleontologists find dinosaur mummies that are preserved remnants of the soft bits, either as impressions.
Soft. See, you're made of two things.
Soft bits.
Soft bits and hard
hard-
bits.
Soft bits and hard skeletal remains. Hard skeletal parts. Spooky.
Okay, so when you're,
Made of soft bits and spooky, scary skeletons. That's what we're all made of.
when you're getting really close with your lizard friend, just say, I really like your soft bit. Let me lick your soft bit.
Bit, because I only have one. One of everything. Studies find dinosaur mummies that preserve the remains of the soft bits, either as impressions of genetically modified pieces of the original flesh. There's no way to make an exquisitely preserved dinosaur. Sometimes it happens when a dinosaur is quickly buried in ash, others dry out in the open for a while. For whatever reason, experts have uncovered several Pithecanthropus with preserved soft tissues. The fossilization in some of these specimens is so refined that we even know what the colors these dinosaurs were: brown on top and lighter along the belly.
Oh, okay. I thought they were describing the color of their cloaca.
The new fossil is one of the most detailed ones. It includes
It's like
patches of-
persona colors.
It was true all along. It's like 6 different colors.
I'm a green neon dinosaur.
Includes patches of skin and scales, as well as Ornamental bristles on the tail, most rarely part of the patch of the tissue between the hips and the base of the tail, aka a butt. The patch of tissue between the hips and the base of the tail, aka a butt.
AKA, also known as.
The actual description of the butthole, which appears in the paper, has yet to be peer reviewed.
How do you peer review a dinosaur's butt? It's like figure A.
Makes me feel I have a little sympathy for a dinosaur that probably didn't expect to have its posterior formally presented in a technical literature over 100 million years after its death. Just think, 100 million years from now, there might be a perfectly preserved human ass somewhere in Antarctica that some researcher of some species ahead of us finally discovers it. And it's like, oh, we finally know what a human butthole looks like after all of these years.
Sparkle cloacas. Sparkle cloacas. God damn it, literally.
It's like
chat.
neon knots,
Yeah, neon. Yeah,
but in real life.
Yeah.
Neon knots.
Neon nuts. Like bioluminescent.
Yeah, but
Bioluminescent cloaca.
On the fossil, just below the tail.
Dino donuts.
Dino donut. That's a show title if I ever.
I can see like somebody starting a business named Dino Donuts, and it's like a donut shop.
Just with huge donuts.
Yeah, but then you just learn about paleontology while you're there, and like all of the donuts are named after different
and they're color
and
accurate.
color. Yeah, they're like color accurate
They're
frosting.
like, what was the color again? Like pink.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're just like you have different like species names for different like frosting flavors and colors. Oh my god.
On the fossil, just below the tail, the butthole appears as a blackish molted ovoid area.
Yeah, it sounds like a donut flavor right there to me.
Sounds more like an ovid. It's like a slit more than it is a donut. So you have to like rename your main. It's like, I don't know, slithering slits.
Unexpected frosting and baking area.
The paleontologist is right. The image is on page 4 of the PDF found in this link. To the naked eye, the spot looks like a series of dark, stacked bands running between the base of the tail and the hip bones, clearly different from the skin around it. What those bands mean, the paper tells us, is the Pterosaurus had a downstairs setup similar to a cloaca. This is pretty different from our own mammalian plumbing. While we all know the old joke about a playground next to a sewage system in the reference to the locations of our own sex organs and waste.
There's an object called ha, so it's ha cloaca. Yeah, we are being such children. But anyway, this is the image they were referring to. So, huh. Okay.
Scroll down a little more.
Yeah. Like that?
No, where it says ha ha ha.
Oh. Well, there's that image.
Vent? What do they mean by vent?
And then there's this. I'll leave that up on the screen for a second here.
Just love ha 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 cloaca.
I don't think there's any other images. Yep, nope. But this is the paper. A crocodilian-style cloaca, a non-avian...
In a
Avilian? I can't.
Avalian.
Yeah, I can't. Anyway, and then you scroll down and you get this.
Like a bird. Avian. So it's non-bird-like. The orifice is very meaning sewer. Cloaca actually means sewer.
Because it produces everything Clean or dirty?
Remus in chat says perfectly preserved posterior.
The cloaca, the orifice, its very name meaning sewer.
We
That
talked
fucking sewer between your legs.
we talked last week about how the paleontologists were having their naughty words blocked by that chat service they were using.
Yeah. But they can say cloaca all they want.
Is the only opening for the reproductive, urinary, or next story systems. Something to keep in mind if books like Taken by the T-Rex are your jam. You want to search that book up for a second?
Yeah, I'll work on it.
I think we talked about that.
Dinosaur erotica. Yeah, look at that. The image. I love it. I love it.
Okay, I think that woman should have worn like.
Only $2.99 and you can get Taken by the TX.
129 ratings.
Wait, it's free.
Obviously the best book ever written at SFW, 1 star. This book was a good buy. Unfortunately,
Really written, but I guess.
sex scene should have come sooner. It took way long to get to the sex. Okay. We could read the first
I don't
first
want
bit
to
of
read
it.
any of this right now. Can you search like what's in the people who have bought this also buy?
Oh. What other items did customers buy? Ravaged by the Triceratops. Kissing the coronavirus? Okay,
Click.
oh my fucking god, it's a what? Is it a romanticism about
Hulk?
what?
She's supposed to cure the coronavirus. Instead, she fell in love with it. Erotica.
Dr. Alexa Ashtingforge stared at the test tube between her fingers, her perfectly pink manicured nails clashing with the pale bubbling liquid inside. Okay, I'm not gonna read that. I don't want to lose any.
If people bought these books, I would just read them and make audio. Completely serious. Just
1 star. Well, I read it. Best 99 cents I've ever spent. Not meant to be taken seriously. It's parody and a well done one. Could not stop laughing, telling my friends about it. It's a laugh. Yeah, it seems like it's kind of a comedy thing.
I would gladly narrate these without laughing.
I'm sure you can.
Space Raptor Butt Invasion.
Oh
Is
wow!
the other one? Yeah,
Space
I want to see Ravished by Triceratops though.
I like Space Raptor Butt Invasion.
Oh,
though.
this I'm liking this cover photo.
It's really small though.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's an origin because it says Triceratops.
See, this is the thing. Like furries are worried about like zoo imagery getting into our community, and then there's just shit like this on Amazon. I'm telling you guys, I stood in the middle of
His
the village.
cock thick and rock hard would slam into my pussy again and again until I exploded around his thick shaft. I just saw that right there. Third paragraph.
Oh,
His cock thick and rock hard.
where is it?
Third paragraph, right there.
Yeah, you just
Exploded
hovered
around with
over
the thick
it.
shaft, milking his dick with my orgasm.
Oh,
There.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, okay. Oh, thanks.
She was becoming a woman
Yeah.
with Triceratops cock.
Right in the beginning too. I just noticed. This is actually like the beginning of the book. So
Is it? I think.
yeah, that's
I don't know. I think that might be the end.
beginning. No, yeah, that's right in the beginning. Yeah, that's.
Can you go to the butt rated by space velociraptors?
Where is this?
That was the other one. I think you gotta go back one.
Oh, there's more.
No, you gotta go-
Taken by the dinosaur at the dinosaur in the Velociraptor's nest.
Wait, no, you gotta go back one,
Okay.
and then what was the space raptor butt invasion?
Yeah, let's read this one. Okay, so this one's
Oh,
got.
this is a gay novel. There you go.
Oh, this is gay though. Space can be a lonely place, especially when you're stationed by yourself in the distant planet Zorbitus.
Lance. Of course, it would be Lance.
Fucking Lance.
Okay.
So this is the wow. That is some Photoshop. Okay,
Wow.
why is the dinosaur on a Segway? That's the part I'm trying to figure out.
In a like human style spacesuit. Like, why
Yeah.
didn't it be like
I don't know. It's going to be a long year up here. Okay, let's see. Okay, that doesn't actually have any. Let's read the reviews for this one. When Man and Raptor Learn to Love. 5 stars. Best way to spend an evening. 5 stars.
Why are there so many 5-star reviews here?
Maybe there's just not enough homoerotic sci-fi.
The best butt invasion there is. 5 stars. A lot of 5-star reviews.
Yeah. 74%.
Let's read the 3-star reviews. Those are always the best. Shortest novel to be nominated for a Hugo Award. So they're just upset that it's short. Dry and forced. Okay.
Hey, go back a couple pages.
Okay.
One more.
Well, hold on. There's Gay T-Rex Law Firm.
These are...
Wait. That's no, the other one. To your right, because there's a title is like 6 things long.
Nice guy Dinosaur doesn't pound me in the butt because I'm not interested, and he's not actually nice. He's just annoying and creepy and doesn't respect ... when I tell him we're not on a date. That is the name of the book.
Nice guy. Yeah, that's the name of the book. Nice guy Dinosaur doesn't pound me in the butt because I want to read it on the front page though, on the picture page. There we go. Nice guy Dinosaur doesn't pound me in the butt because I'm not interested and he's not actually nice. He's just annoying and creepy and doesn't respect my boundaries when I tell him we're not on a date. By who is this by? Chuck Tingle.
Chuck Tingle.
All the previous books were written by Chuck Tingles. So he's making banks out of these books.
Not pounded by anything. 6 platonic tales of non-sexual encounters. What is happening? Okay.
I think we found the dark side of Yemzan.
Yeah, we're gonna go all.
Can you click in on that author? I want to know his generic roundabout.
Oh,
this is Krista Sims. You gotta go forward. You gotta have the butt doctor. Yeah, can you Chuck Tingle? I just want to know what his full scope is.
Butt Trek instead of Star Trek.
Mike Bence and the Werefly.
Mike. What?
Mike Bence in the butt.
That only happened 3 weeks ago. He pulled that out in 3 weeks.
It's time for the vice presidential debate, and Mike Pence isn't even looking forward to the experience.
No, when was it when was that debate?
2 weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah, publication October 7th. Wow. Impressive. Look at his icon on.
Can you search him on Google?
Wait, there's another one right there that has a huge long title. It's another not pounded.
All right. Not pounded by the physical manifestation of someone else's doubt in the place of autism spectrum, because denying someone's personal journey and identity like that is incredibly rude, so no thanks. What? Not pounded by the physical manifestation of someone else's doubt in my place on the autism spectrum, because denying someone's personal journey and identity like that is incredibly rude, so no thanks.
I love the so no thanks.
I awaken with a strange feeling in my stomach, a bubbling tornado that swirls around with me and threatens to climb its way up out of my body, exploding in my throat in some strange metaphysical eruption. What is happening?
Please search him on Google.
I just want to let's see what's more titles. What other? I just want to we'll just do a skim. I just want to see
Wow, there's a lot.
Scary
here's
stories
another
to
one.
tingle your butt.
Here's another one. Chuck Tingle, pounded in the butt by a knockoff book that glorifies deadly tragedy and doesn't prove love is real.
What about pounded in the butt by my own butt?
Where?
At the very end.
All right.
Oh.
Hey, someone already made an audiobook for it.
Oh,
Say you're behind the
audiobook.
game.
Yeah, it's $0. Audible sample.
Where does the miracle of science end and
that's
magic
so
begin?
bad.
Some people would say never, that magic is nothing more than something we can't quite understand yet, but eventually will. Just because a force seems mysterious and exotic doesn't mean it can't be quantified
It actually
later
hurts
on.
my ears.
I don't like it.
Can I just like reach out to this person? I will gladly re-audiobook his books for him
A Highway to Heck. That's a good. That's
in
a good,
higher quality.
That's a good book name.
If anyone wants to reach out to this author for me, and I will honestly, I will.
My macaroni and cheese is a lesbian, and also she's my lawyer. What if this guy is like a brilliant writer?
That's why I'm asking you
Like-
to search it on Google.
Hugo Award nominee. Erotic author and Taekwondo grandmaster.
Almost black belt.
After receiving his PhD at DeVry University in holistic massage. Okay, this guy, come on. This guy's got to be just a complete parody. Is the pseudonym's author of a primarily gay niche erotica. He self-publicizes his work through Amazon.com, primarily through ebooks. There's a whole Wikipedia article on him. Huh. PhD in holistic massage at DeVry University, which does not offer such a degree. Yeah, so he's just he's a comedian, basically.
He makes his own Photoshop
Yeah.
covers.
He's a comedian. That's what I would say.
No, it's erotica satire.
He's got a website, chucktingle.com.
Greatest author
That's
of our generation.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, back to dinosaur butts. Because yes, that's where we were.
I think I'm done. We ended with T-Rex erotica, and then dinosaurs have cloacas.
Oh, all right. All right, next.
There's one in there about otters for you if you want to read that one.
Otters? Okay. Where is it? Raccoon, fungus.
It's in their biology and health.
Oh, otters. This has got to be a joke. All right.
Okay, really quick. Sylvan Scott just tweeted at me and said, "Oh wow, at CT Sweat, you've never heard of Chuck Tingle before. This guy's the best. Here's a photo of me with him when he was a guest of honor at Convergence." And that's the photo. Here, let me just pull this up on the studio computer here. I think I'm logged into my Twitter on the studio computer, so I should be able to just pull it up. Yeah, here it is.
Huh.
Love is real. Okay. Brilliant.
Wow.
Shout out to Sylvan Scott, by the way, one of our patrons.
Yeah, I've never heard of Chuck Tingle before, but seems really kind of famous. But his audio quality for his reading, I think, beats the word.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody else submitted that. That was like a user submitted thing on Amazon. Because you can just randomly submit audiobooks.
Well, you should
Really?
get to it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, I would assume maybe the author has to approve it, but he probably just approved it.
I'm sure
'cause
he'll approve you.
I will. So I have to buy the book. I don't have money to buy the book, so
Take your time. Okay.
I appreciate the work. I would add to it with my voice, but I'm not willing to
Because
purchase.
you really do have to embrace the wild weirdness of Chuck Tingle. He's a total sweetie and a hilarious author. I met him last year in July. Awesome fellow. Sylvan Scott's in chat right now. Yeah, he seems just like a good comedian. I think that's yeah.
Maybe our fans need to reach out to him, and we'll have him on the show.
Yeah.
I can jump into it.
Alright.
About otters.
Yeah, go ahead. Just make sure the mic is aimed at you. It's not
Okay.
aimed at you. There. No,
Went from butts, so this was obviously
turn
the.
it. There you go.
Went from butts. I figured this was obviously the next best choice. So
Otters are eating the hearts, livers, and productive organs of sharks.
otters are eating shark dicks.
Wow.
What a surprise.
Is this like that fetish hyper art where like the dick goes all the way through the other character?
Well, if an otter swallows a shark dick, I'm sure it will come up the other end. It's
Imagine
very
an otter
because
swimming around with the entire mass of
shark tongue up
yeah.
through his body. Otters are masters of misdirections. having cleverly contributed to countless hours of footages showing them as fluffy floaters holding hands and juggling. They've carried out the PR spins of a lifetime, with many being unaware of their dark side.
The dark side of the otters. The otter side.
What's that? I hear you cry. Why, yes, I'm an anthropomorphizing and unfairly passing judgments based on human moral codes onto wild animals, carrying out their natural behaviors. However, this story might give you pause for thought the next time you stare into the eyes of these calculated killers. A coastal town between South Africa has discovered their resident otters are practicing an unusual and highly skilled predatory technique, killing sharks to eat their livers, hearts, and male reproductive organs before discarding the rest of the carcasses. Wow, they don't eat the rest of the body.
This is a whole new meaning of hungry for dick.
Yep. They're going out for that sweet shark dick.
And nothing else. Rangers were puzzled as over the last few months they were finding more and more shark carcasses that appear to have been operated on as they were missing vital organs. They were
All these sharks keep going up at the beach and they're missing their dicks. What is going on?
Where are the dicks going?
Is there a criminal gang that only collects shark dicks out
Like
there?
instead of shark fin soup, it's shark dick soup.
And they start questioning like local restaurants. It's like, are you guys selling shark dick soup?
It's a high aphrodisiac. The Futurama.
They were drawn across the shores of Simonstown, False Bay, which is famous for its population of great white sharks, which can sometimes be seen breaching the ocean surface while hunting. It seemed, oh my god, there's a video of it. It seemed, however, the hunters had become hunted.
Hunted. The hunters have become the hunted.
As the partially gutted remains of shy sharks continue to rack up on the beaches. As soon as otters were discovered to be the culprit, as they were seen tucking into shy shark on shore, while the heart, liver, and male reproductive organs might sound like especially savage focus points, these areas are the parts of the shark that are most nutritious, and hence explains why the otters have such penchant for this peculiar awful trio. There's a video.
Yeah, I played it.
Oh, you played it?
It's not much to see. It's pretty blurry, but it's an otter eating a baby shark.
Baby shark.
But edited over with like otters eating the little baby shark's penis.
The song, like, it just loops Baby Shark, but it just gets more and more muffled as it goes on.
Violent.
Fortunately, the predated shy sharks aren't in short supply, and their abundance might actually explain why the otters have become such choosy feeders. When spoiled for choice, carnivores can become selective in their meat they choose to consume. So with the veritable feast of shy sharks, these otters wouldn't waste a good appetite on some nutrient-deficient cheap cuts. That's why. The selective feeding approach has also been observed in killer whales, who are able to take on great whites in such as False Bay, and they have been several carcasses of these apex predators found sand lipid dense liver on shore. The unfortunate fate of these two shark species at the hands or fins of mammals with a far friendlier reputation demonstrate that sharks aren't all that deserving of their title as lean, mean killing machines. If this woman who was taken to hospital with suspected shark bite while shouting, "I still love sharks," can see past the teeth, maybe it's time for a rebrand. So, are they being hunted by otters? Like, are there a swarm of otters?
Otter swarm.
A swarm of otters chasing after sharks. And that little lone shark is just running away, or not running away, swimming away.
Yeah.
Otters have gone
Baby shark,
savage.
munch, 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 munch. Wow.
Mr. Otterton have gone.
So to
has
add to
gone savage.
2020,
All right.
other breaking news
Oh no.
kind of destroys another, something like we've never seen before case that 2020 is.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Strange new unknown fungus being found on old Twinkies after man finds them in the basement and takes a bite.
Patient zero. Created by Twinkies. TM.
I feel like, you just get to a point where, like,
Just get to a point where just sigh. You don't even need any other words. Just,
You know how fungus can eat or turn ants into zombies,
I
right?
feel like we're going to destroy the rainforest with the amount of paper we need to use to print bingo cards for 2020.
back in the year 2012,
Like 20 years ago.
an amateur wildlife photographer and science fan, Colin Purington, worried that Twinkies might disappear forever after the producer, hostess, filed for bankruptcy. Naturally, he decided to stock up on the cakes while he still had the chance. He had heard that the popular urban legend that Twinkies can survive forever. And according to legend, Twinkies also remain edible for anywhere between 50 years and the end of time. Rumors
They're so disgusting, nothing would grow on them.
Rumors include that the snack isn't actually a cake at all, but instead a chemical reaction.
Yes, bread. Chemical reaction.
Isn't all food... Life itself is a chemical reaction. The fuck does that mean?
But this isn't cake, it's a chemical reaction.
It's not cake. Baking is the chemical... That's
Yes, it is actually.
That's baking.
But this isn't cake.
Cake is chemical reaction.
Yeah.
Well, the final you make cake with a chemical reaction. But the Twinkie itself is just a chemical reaction, never ceasing.
Okay.
Which technically cake would be too, because eventually mold break down and then you actually, I don't know. It's organic chemistry, I guess. And molecular chemistry, because you're breaking down the processes of everything.
Living things are chemical reactions.
Yes, everything is a chemical reaction. Rumors include that the snack cake isn't actually cake at all, but instead a chemical reaction, or that they last so long because they actually contain a chemical used in embalming fluids. Appetizing. For some reason, people believe that when the reign of humans is over and most of the earth and animals are gone, there'll be nothing left but Twinkies and cockroaches. And of course, tardigrades. The idea even features in films like Zombieland, where after the apocalypse, they are one of the only snack foods available. But because 2020... but because 2020...
Written in the article.
That slogan is this year. Just
Yeah.
But because
I love
2020...
how that's just an acceptable thing to write.
During the pandemic, Purington became bored and decided to crack out the Twinkies and take a bite. You want to pull this up? There's actually, he documented it step by step.
All right. Is it in the thing?
Yes.
Where is it?
Scroll down.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I didn't. If I didn't. Oh, yeah, there it is. It is. It's right above the otters.
There it is, yeah.
I was like, I swear I put that. It's in there.
All right. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, God.
So it starts with, I found a box of Hostess snacks, Twinkies from 2012 in my basement, and I thought I'd make a short thread. There were some surprises. It was not good. When he bit into it, immediately he made him gag. Burlington wrote on a Twitter thread, this may be something to do with the cake having actual shelf-life of only 45 days. I've done the math, and that's way shorter than 8 years.
I've done the math.
He did the math, guys.
If my calculations are correct, 45 days is a lot less than 8 years. The turkeys from 2012 on the left, it seems to have settled a bit over the years. Settled a bit. And looked.
It's on iNaturalist.
It's the app that I use.
Holy shit! Needs ID. Hostess turkey from 2012. Imitation is a must.
Yeah, it's a newfound mold.
One would need to look at the spores under a microscope to the lower level ID, but most likely this is a phylum.
Look at the second photo, or scroll to the next.
Oh god, that's disgusting.
Oh, even closer.
Okay, I'll keep reading.
Twinkie from 2012 on the left, it seems to have settled a bit over the years and looks a little dry. The biggest difference is that the cream filling has browned and restricted a bit, leaving air gaps.
Pharaoh, look at the TV.
Oh my god.
We'll get there.
Although I grew up thinking Twinkies would last for years, if not forever, I was very wrong. The one I bit into was chewy, unsweet, and smelled like rotting ginkgo fruit. I gagged. I have no one to blame but myself. The box clearly warned. Oh. That's used by November 26, 2012. That was actually the least gross part of the story. Pullington took a closer look at the other Twinkies and found one hosting an organism of some sort that he refused to taste on grounds that he'd seen a movie before.
Which movie?
Just, and I quote, I've seen a movie before. Oh my fucking god. Hosting an organism of some sort, and that he refused to taste on the ground that he'd seen that movie before. The worst Twinkie looked like it had evolved into its final form.
Oh, look at how solid it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh god. Oh god, it just gets worse. I'm gonna stop scrolling. I can't. Oh god.
To be an organism of some sort, I guess it could be dead, but that's not something I'm going to risk. I've seen that movie before. Maybe someone on iNaturalist will recognize it. Here's a link in case for that for you. I promised there was a surprise, and this is it. One of the Twinkies had shriveled into a small log, sucking the plastic into it like it was vacuum packed. Is that something a fungus or a bacteria does? Or is there some antibiotic chain reaction taking place? Abiotic. That's like botulism and stuff. Like, it expands. This literally sucked in the Twinkie, which I don't know. Like, usually there's like gases are usually formed when something digests something.
yeah.
So the fact that I don't know, how did it suck in? How did it vacuum seal itself?
Unless was there that much of a pressure change in between when it was sealed and now? But I thought, like, that plastic was semi-wet, permeable. It just seems...
No, it's sucked in.
That's really sucked in.
And
I guess consumed more gas than it emitted.
And it even says
It could have converted a gas into
like solid material.
A solid, yeah.
But it says it approximately is 1 ounce lighter than a fresh one. It lost weight.
Okay.
It's a number 7.
Yeah, I know. It's really 1 ounce lighter than the fresh one. More reviews of the 8-year-old Twinkie, some of which seem to show fungal hypothy, also known as several globs of yellow on the exterior of the wrapper, bottom right of the pic. They assume are from holes, maybe one of the fungi that can eat plastic.
Oh, what? Oh, no. This guy shipped it to some lab using USPS.
Oh, somebody's saying evaporation through the packing material. The plastic might be permeable to certain
Well, all plastic is kind of permeable at some point to
certain things, yeah.
like if you take it with like an egg or something like that, and even the Ziploc bags,
Yeah.
water will still permeate through eventually.
Yeah.
But it just seems weird to see it vacuum packed.
Yeah.
I feel like this is not something that you should transport through USPS. It's like, you don't even know what species it is.
I think it's actually a new species of fungus.
I don't know about that, but I mean, it got there somehow.
Things evolve. It's evolved into Twinkie, so Blaine decided that it may be disgusting as a snack, but it was the least scientific interest, fortunately. So scientists, after he put it out in the field, helped identify whatever fungus was growing on the forbidden Twinkie. We have a terrifying microecology called
Twinkie.
Operation Moldy Twinkie. I will ID an unknown fungus of fungi growing inside an individually wrapped 8-year-old expired Hostess snack Twinkie. This moldy cakes were discovered in Clona's basement. MSA fungi. Matt Casson, associate professor of forest pathology and mycology at West Virginia University, offered to investigate, and Collins sent him the Twinkies, leading to the biopsy that looked about as grim as an autopsy. They even used a tool for extracting the bone marrow from the Twinkie. We have a new terrifying micro. The other fungus-infected cake still had typical cream-filled center. The team believed that the fungus was in the packing before the Twinkie was sealed up for the 12 years of solitude, as the plastic wrapper appears to have been sucked inward, suggesting that it may have used up more oxygen consuming the forbidden Twinkie than it released. You will end up with a vacuum. There we go. That answers that one forbidden question that I wanted to know. Cassie's colleague Bryant Lovett told NPR that the vacuum may have halted the fungus' ability to continue to grow further. We just have the snapshot of what we were sent, but who knows if this process occurred 5 years ago or he just noticed it now. Examining the sample Twinkies under the microscope found fungal spores as they'd expect.
So it could still spread, as they still have spores.
Cross-section of the dead Twinkie. From Litley spotted Twinkie, the team was able to grow the fungus in the lab and identify it. You know the photo will clue you in. Oh, it was a common airborne species, Cladosporium, on the horrific Twinkie. However, they were unable to actually identify the mysterious fungus, as nothing has grown from its sample. They speculate that the fungus could have died years ago, given that the Twinkies are 8 years old, so it remains unidentified. So there is an unidentified fungus.
Well, it's also just because it's so old that it might have it didn't survive. So it could just be two common species of, same thing that grows on moldy bread or
So
whatever.
if it's commonly known species, they should be able to identify what it is by their remaining spores.
Maybe
and
not because the other thing is there's probably
structures.
other materials in there that probably just eventually disintegrates whatever's there to the point where it's unidentifiable. If it's going to erode,
It
right?
says, given the Twinkies are 8 years old and this remains one example remains unidentified as an unknown substance. However, they are determined to keep trying to rejuvenate in a lab using the mixtures and are trying to coax it back to life with different methods. We've seen this movie too. This story is not over yet, of course. Pillington writes on his website, the fungus growing on the center Twinkie is apparently the genus Cladosporium, but hopefully they will be able to determine the exact species. And I'm hoping that if they can't culture the fungus that's in the mummified Twinkie, that they'll be able to sequence it and get an actual ID. I cannot wait. And they're also working on the moldy ho-hos I sent them.
All right.
Update, the suspicious ho-hos have arrived. Clear out your cupboards, man. So this is how the zombie virus is going to start in West Virginia.
Yeah.
In 2021.
Some dude's Twinkies in his basement. All right, before we go on a quick music break, we should mention that this episode of FurCast is sponsored by twintailcreations.com. You can check out their website where they sell high-quality, durable, and carefully made adult toys for reasonable prices. They come in all kinds of pretty
But
colors.
are they, actual realistic, like actual dinosaur buttholes?
We'll have them get back to us on that. But you can see samples of the toys on the screen.
Like a scientist verified?
Scientists verified, like for accuracy. Twin Tails accuracy. But no, they sell all kinds of cool, fun adult products. They also sell cool other little trinkets, like the little squishy dinosaur things. And we have a bunch of them on our little tables. They have a bunch of Halloween-themed stuff, like little squishy pumpkins and stuff that you can put on your side table or whatever and make people who are degenerates just like you know where you got them from, but people who aren't degenerates won't know where you got them. But on that note, they do ship discreetly. The return label just says TTC LLC, same thing with the credit card transaction. They also ship internationally, and they're in our chat room because they're degenerates just like you and I. So they're always in there answering questions for people. They also have their own Telegram chat that you can join if you're interested. Where people are always asking interesting questions and suggesting hilarious ideas for new products. And of course, if you own any Twin Tails Project product, you are encouraged to reach out and share your experiences.
Who won their contest?
I don't know.
I didn't check to see. I know they were going to announce it.
I don't know. We have coupon codes that can save you up to 20% off on their silicone products in particular. And the coupon code is Red Wolf.
Or Blue Fox if you're kinkier.
Yeah, but you should use Red Wolf. And
Nah,
not, and
Blue Fox is still winning.
I think you should. Yeah.
You don't even use toys.
Because he's a top.
Because I'm a top. I'm a wolf. Come on.
There's
This is
fuckables
common
there,
knowledge.
too.
That's true.
You got to experience their products.
I mean, we do
as
have
their their professional
I mean, I
sales-
have experienced them. They're all over our house. On that regard.
I mean, they are used for like everything. Book stops.
Book stops. Stirring food.
Doorstop.
Yeah, doorstop. We just have dildos.
Oh my god, why haven't we done that? Instead of those springy doorstops that goes ding,
Yeah.
you just put a dildo on it.
Yeah.
The suction cup. I mean, there's one still suction cup to the ceiling of the kitchen. So, I mean, obviously, we don't have any of the springy door little ding things because none of the doors open up all the way to slam into something.
That's true.
Yeah. But I feel, well, to hold the door open, though.
I mean, you probably could put one on the ceiling there because when that door swings open, but like it'd be hard. You would need like a cocked angle dick, like a right angle dick.
I'm sure that's somebody's kink.
Just a straight right angle dick. That would be the only one because like the ceiling's slanted. It'd probably be like a 45-degree angle dick, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the slope of that wall is, but you need it to like come down and then go sideways so that like the door would hit it
Yeah.
instead of hitting the wall.
You guys are listening to FurCast live on XBN, or maybe you're listening to a recording on a podcast or YouTube later. But we're going to be back after a quick music break.
You're listening to FurCast.
Support for FurCast comes from Patreon users, including Shaman the Photon Wizard, Dexy Wexy, Phaon, Energize the Wolf, Sweetie Darling, Barnaby Fox, Strike the Sergal, Frost Blaze, Anu Fox, Omega Zai, Mullock the Generic Brown Wolf, Cypher the Heckmutt, X the Fox, Binary Paws, Zavarkin, Fireline Coyote, Trinity Werefox, Lord Headcheese, Biohazard, Code Yax, Fox 777, Fiasco, Red Eye the Rhodey Red Lion, Tukiri, Lieutenant Fox, Calypso Collie the Fluffy Trucker, Mellow Wolf, Rit the Otter, Doxy, Zoopy the Barcode Kitty, Arceus the Tiny Tiger, Horse Code Hooves Up, Donut, Alta Shep, Meru Snowmew, D Otter, Ski Sharp, Nick Liz, Nerd Hoof, Zenair the Mutt, Frost Wogon, Jeb M16, Static the Scrap Goat, Taru the Yellow-Nosed Doggo, Cronass, Jax the Husky, Fuzzy the Fox, No Name Horse, and Gaia Wellen.
Additional support comes from social media. Twitter users, Commander Wolf 3, Kazuro Fox, Drop Table Foxes, Perp, House Tier, Anti-Blue Fox, Onyx Fox 23, BBQ Skunk, Rivik Wolf, John Crescent, Kaz the Dreg, Wolvern 4, Nate Blueberry 13, Belle Platagon, Jared Tamana, Cyrus SL, Crossy on Twitter at XSSFox, the other Commander Wolf on Twitter at ForWolf99, Reiner on Twitter at What's the Fuzz, Zelig on Twitter at Stealthy Dragon, Trashcat Danny on Twitter at Trash Danny, 12 on Twitter at The Lion Thing, Shua on Twitter at Pulsing Panther, Coda Winter on Twitter at Dakota Wolf 12, Telegram user Sorcerer Dale, YouTube channel Joe G. Bear, and the following websites: macrowolf.com, hurryhoo.com, hack13.me, Superdwarf with anthrolinks.net, and Devin D. Partlet with furryhockeyleague.com.
Additional support for FurCast comes from Shisha Sheppy, Who's a Good Boy? For head bases and 3D printed goods, commission Tar Paw Studios at Alice Tar on Telegram, Silver Moonshine, maker of fluffy tails, Fisk Games, the new furry YouTuber on the block, at AlecGator300 on Twitter, creating pixel arts and being a filthy hybrid since 2012, Tantru with World in Rue View, providing fandom news since 2015, Honorius, who says, one more cheese joke and someone's getting bored, Spurigs, one of the only Ethiopian wolf degenerates in all of furry land, Scar the Fur on YouTube, giving you bite-sized, detailed furry history, Kilo the Proto-Yote, who says Jessie is the best kitty, Cody Big Cat with Cody's custom auto and truck accessories. Come see us today at 625 East 1st Street in Vidalia, Georgia, for all your auto accessory needs. Light and Shadow, the wolves, keep furry possum. Patty, who says, what Socks says is true. Socks, who says, what Patty says is not true. A message from at Grundy the Goat. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. Vodka Taylor, who says, get your shit together, Taylor. Clean your room. Donran, munching those pizzas and writing those tunes. For an invite to the unofficial FurCast Minecraft server, message at Sashahina on Telegram. KobeCats.com. Take a bite out of art. We know you're hungry, so come get your paws and maws on a delicious piece of burger-priced art. Raiko's Furry Fortune Telling on Telegram at Obsidian Fox. Saucy Fox, who says, I'm trash. Raccoons, HMU. Checkers the Dragon. Chess is my safe word. Fishmeister Cod, still not a furry since February 2011. Nightly at snouts.online, who says, I want to see this community grow beyond meets and conventions. Permanent furry commune. When? Max Shepard, who has been watching since the Bacon Felony. Neon Wuff, who says, Oreo is a very good boy. Little_sunshine and Scootaloo with the unofficial XBN Xbox app at patreon.com/horseapps. FurCast's #1 wimpy fan, Tyler the Wesky. Shacky, the Maid Lord of Nordic FuzzCon. Visit the Maid Cafe at Nordic FuzzCon in Sweden. Chris Tale on FA, specializing in Toonie art. The Church of Iswar, worshipping lynx since the year Tuft. Rose Iron Husky, smell those sweet, sweet welds. Skycorp, creating transformative technologies for mature audiences at skycorp.global. Check out the SoCal Shepherd Show, wherever you get your podcasts. Disc Cookie, creating procedural beat maps for VR rhythm games. Kuranos, who says, circles are quite friendly and nice actually. Tekwin, TC Fox, and Kaiwana of the Infrasec Den in Wellington, New Zealand. At Equinox on Twitter, who says, remember kids, neigh loudly, squeak often. Sylvan Scott, Grey Muzzle, Sorta Rider, and Tabletop Gamer. On Fur Affinity as Sylvan, with size-related stories and other speculative fiction. Shadowclaw Studios. Check out our Facebook page for links to our gaming streams. The Feline Support Alliance. A good kitty is a bitey kitty. Shacket Airlines. We always land on our feet. SilverGatoman at patreon.com/SilverGatoman. Cheetah Paws for a daily dose of bulgy arts. Support him at patreon.com/CheetahPaws.
And a very special thanks to Blaze Fusky and Decibel Fox. Support for FurCast comes through Patreon, PayPal, cash donations, and from listeners like you. To become a patron and learn more about supporting FurCast, visit furcast.fm/support.
This is XBN.
Don't tear your eyes off, live it, you'll make it. I inject the regret and wrench my wings off. Past memories on the fortune cards in my veins. Breathe again, I'll come to you feeling high. In such days, your prayers are to the devil. Yes, my friend, rain falls on everyone. Cry loudly to me. Won't you help to sing? You are the survivor. How can you take a step forward? How can you live? How can you live? How can you take a step forward? How can you live? How can you live? My bones, the reason of our encounter, of our farewell, inevitable. Let it lift you up. When the sun comes up, I'm gonna leave. You're gonna walk again. When the sun comes up, I'm gonna leave. How can you take a step forward? How can you live? How can you live? How can you take a step forward? How can you live? How can you live? Step forward.
This is FurCast on XBN. Welcome back. That was Steel Valley. Well, I should say Steel Valley or the 4.webm is the name of the track. From the Mr. Robot Volume 3 soundtrack by Matt Coyle. Mr. Robot has a fantastic soundtrack. Before that was Let It Lift by Boom Boom Satellites. And now we're back. And hopefully I don't have any issues because of that Boom Boom Satellites track, because YouTube usually doesn't like that. Anyway. And oh wait, no, that mic's supposed to be on, and then that mic's supposed to be off. There we go. Do you have more news to jump into? We do have one email, so we can do that at some point.
Do you have news?
All right, I'll let you do more news then.
Scientist creates ultra white.
That's called HDR.
Paint.
So reflective that it reflects everything. So practically
The
a mirror.
opposite of Vanta Black. We have
So
ultra
wouldn't
white.
it be just mirror? You know, if
ultra
it-
white?
Yeah, but that sounds like it should be a mirror. Isn't mirror like the
I
perfect?
think a mirror still absorbs light.
Oh yeah, nothing's 100% efficient.
Yeah. So I guess even the perfect white wouldn't be as reflective as a mirror would be.
Well, Vanta Black only I think absorbs what 99% of light. You're never going to get 100% of anything.
Yeah. I'm curious.
So I just create ultra white. So reflective it can actually cool buildings even in bright sunlight.
A Karen so white that even she's the manager. Ultravite, the Secret Service codename for Vice President Pence.
Ultra white.
Oh, God.
Mike Pence's porn alias.
Yeah, ultra white.
Ultra white. Scientists have now created a new ultra-white paint that can reflect 95.5% of the sunlight that reaches its surface.
It's just a photo of Mike Pence.
This incredible...
It's just him, but they're talking about it like
it's like
scientific.
zoomed in
Yeah.
on his like cheek or something. There's hair.
Yeah.
With the fly on.
The incredible property allows something coated in this paint, like a building, to cool below the temperature of its surroundings, even under direct sunlight. An incredible technical achievement that could go towards combating global warming.
That's not very Mike Pence-like.
We know the planet's suffering, so to combat global warming, we're going to make this paint.
Is that the rest of my Pepsi?
Yes, your
Oh, okay.
2-day-old Pepsi.
That's fine. I was just curious if that you were... He's my scrap cat. He eats all of my scraps.
Because you're never going to finish it. You
I
put it
know.
in the fridge and you forget it. So I just eat it for you.
Yep. I come home with scraps sometimes for you to eat.
You literally gave me 2 crusts.
I literally came home and I was like, here, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty. And then you're like, ooh, food. And I was like, yeah. And I opened the box and it was just a bunch
Pizza
of
crusts.
pizza crusts.
I had it. I was happy.
You still ate them.
Yeah.
If they're studying white paint, aren't they paleontologists?
You're not getting a bell.
That gets a reverse bell.
I think there's some far better things we can do to combat global warming than painting things white.
I mean, that's how...
Literal whitewashing.
But that's how Greek people...
Wow, this is like the perfect thing for Bitcoin users.
But you know how Mediterranean buildings are all white?
They're marble.
Yes, but reason why they picked
Marble is white.
Yes, but they purposely picked white material because it reflects sun and is, usually hot and humid around Mediterranean area. So there was
I think they also picked it because it was probably prevalently available too.
Yes, so it was the best choice of all.
See, you don't need to worry about the climate impacts of Bitcoin. You could just paint your house white, ultra white.
Oh, did we tell, do you know about it, Faye? How Bitcoin...
We talked about it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He didn't talk about it on the show though.
Yeah, I didn't talk about it on the show.
You want to add your little comment? I think you should add.
Yeah, you should mention it for people who don't know.
It's really complicated, but TLDR Bitcoin consumes a lot of electricity, like a lot, and you should look it up. I mean, like it's a hard argument because it depends on the scale of things and the users and also where that energy is being consumed technically, and it's also kind of hard to calculate because you can't just. It's not as simple as like dividing the amount of electricity consumed by transactions, divided by 0. But it's worth looking into.
One of the estimates that I read said one Bitcoin transaction uses as much as 22 days worth of electricity that an average American household uses.
What does one credit card transaction use?
100.
It's over like 100 kilowatt hours that Bitcoin uses. No, credit card transactions use nothing because they're just
practically nothing.
But again,
they still have to use something.
Argumentative because there are data centers that do credit card processing, but the argument is per transaction. And that's kind of the problem, right? Is like obviously like there's a Visa data center that probably consumes a fuck ton of electricity, but per transaction, considering there's millions of transactions happening constantly, it's probably not. But again, it depends on the scale of the economy and also where the Bitcoin because, for instance, a lot of Bitcoin miners are in data centers that use like renewable energy. So there's like an argument there. And it's very complicated. There's no simple answer to it. I'm just saying it's worth looking into.
I'm just saying too, like just on the opposing argument side of credit card transaction wise, you still have the card readers and everything that have to be powered. So you're still using electricity to use a card reader to do a transaction. So technically, to do a credit card transaction, you're still using power.
And carbon footprint's also hard to calculate because it's like there are automakers that have a really technically horrible carbon footprint, even though they're like a less popular automaker.
Wasn't there a YouTube video about how much of minute of video watching on YouTube
consumes?
Or how much it creates carbon emission because of the data center and the infrastructure that's required to maintain your internet connection. And then the maintenance that goes into like the underground the ocean surface.
Yeah, but again, it's
interconnection.
hard. You can't necessarily say that one YouTube video takes this much electricity.
No.
Because there's so much that goes into it. Not to mention that electricity is also powering other things for other uses.
Yeah.
And so
But what
it's
about
kinda-
our electricity? A lot of it's coming from Niagara Falls, though. It's hydroelectrical.
Actually, no, most of our electricity does not come from Niagara Falls.
It's
Well, most of that gets shipped to New York City, but regardless,
It's
we
complicated.
just ship the boxes of electricity to New York City from Niagara Falls.
just package of water.
A decent portion of our electricity is both coal and natural gas, but it depends on the time of year and the time of day because there's a peak plant nearby that uses natural gas, but we're not always using the peak plant. Most of the time we're on some of the other power plants. There's also a nuclear power plant near
Ontario.
Well, there's one in Ontario, but there's also one in Rochester.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know there was one in Rochester.
yeah, there's one over in that direction.
I bought a new nuclear power plant, just not one that's built in 2020. Like 2021, when we can build one. Start building.
2021 we can build nuclear, but not
That's
2020.
not the 2020 nuclear power plant.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is, long story short, it is a very complicated thing to question and to answer, and it's very difficult and often misleading to compare to other
I don't
things.
think global warming is caused by Bitcoin, though.
No, but
No.
Bitcoin does not have a good track record.
But we should, because the concern is that PayPal just accepted Bitcoin as a medium of payment that will increase the usage of Bitcoin. And you don't divide the usage. Every transaction just uses exponentially more energy.
because of the proof of work,
Yeah.
which gets more and more complicated as
Because
time goes on.
you know, if there's a constant server that's running somewhere in a building, and you know, 100,000 Visa transaction goes through it every minute, and let's say next month it becomes 200,000, the server will use the same amount of electricity until it reaches its maximum capacity. However, the Bitcoin will use just more energy every time you use it. You don't divide whatever.
Well, except the mining, I think, will use less at some point because when we move from subsidized to non-subsidized mode or whatever in mining.
Yeah.
But I don't know the details of it. But
I feel like they're just kind of grouping it together because of all the mining that people are doing for it, which is, I would say, is
No. They're actually, every transaction does require computational work. It's proof of work. Basically, tons of computers actually have to work in order to verify the transaction.
So let's say I've used Bitcoin, and that was before I knew about the environmental impact. So whenever I send a payment to someone, it takes like 10, 15, or 20 minutes because I say, hey, I'm sending this amount of Bitcoin to this address from my address. It goes on. But there has to be some other computers that verifies it with the algorithm. So at least I have to get like 5 approval from other computers. So not only am I using my device to prove that I sent this payment.
Yeah, your
to
device
other
could just be like a phone or something.
Yeah.
But
there has to be other devices that are
seems
like
to be
servers
more like
or
theory-wise
computers.
to me. That doesn't really seem to like.
no, proof of work is it's
Well, no, proof of work is, but like I would say, like P2P sharing is causing a terrible global footprint because we're offering downloads constantly. I mean, that's the concept I see, like as to give the opposing argument side of things.
Yeah, like how much energy does the server consume per download kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems. It doesn't seem like something that's impacting enough that not having Bitcoin wouldn't change the outcome of our current society. Like in a global scale of something for the carbon footprint, I feel like.
Well, it's also a hard argument to make, right? Because, for instance, electric cars are better than gasoline cars, but electric cars also contribute to carbon footprint right now because of how much of our electrical grid is carbon. Now, that's not to say that switching to electric cars is a bad thing because A, we have the technology to make it better, and B, eventually, as time moves on, it will end up reducing our carbon footprint. But at the moment, there is that argument, even though it's been debunked, and it's kind of a similar thing where it's like, some of our energy consumption is also just the fault of our energy systems as a human species, not necessarily that the use is bad. But either way, it is, like I said, worth looking into because there's some interesting data on it. I still hate Bitcoin.
You hate crypto.
And the blockchain is fucking dumb.
Blockchain.
Slow database. Blockchain.
Don't say the C word, hun. You'll bring like weird techie guys out of the woodwork.
Weird libertarians come out of the woodwork.
I mean, it's been helpful for like, I don't know. Bitcoin can be helpful for any kind of people on any political spectrum.
Sure. I feel like there's a better design that we could come up with that's not made by a sketchy guy.
Well, he did it first, so he gets the priority. Just like,
Yeah, it's most things. It's not which one is better, it's which one is people are used to. I don't know. Someday we'll move on from Bitcoin and we'll have something that serves some of a similar purpose but doesn't have the problems.
Dogecoin.
No. I'm pretty sure Dogecoin's based on Ethereum. I don't remember. It's a fork of something. I don't remember.
According to the Journal of Cell Reports Physical Science, the team tested the paint over the course of 2 days when the sun was at its highest point in the sky. The surface covered in the paint was tested was at least 1.7 degrees Celsius or 3.06 degrees Fahrenheit below the surrounding objects. At night, it stayed 10 degrees, 18 degrees Fahrenheit, Fermium units, below the ambient temperatures. It is a persistent task to develop a below ambient radiation cooling solution that offers a convenient single-layer particle matrix paint form and a high reliability, senior author Professor Julian Ruan from the Purdue University said in a statement. This is critical to a wide application of radiant cooling to alleviate the global warming effect. The ability to cool down objects and buildings is certainly exciting and beneficial to many of the industries in our warming world, not only in residential but commercial buildings, to keep ambient temperature cool, but it also could help warehouses where perishable products are kept or even data centers providing their goods. A building covered in the white paint would have a lower indoor temperature, reducing the amount of air conditioning needed too. The paint is acrylic with a calcium carbonate compound. Lacking a metallic component allows the paint to also be used on telecommunication equipment that is kept outdoors, which would help keep it cool without interfering with its signals. Our paint is compatible with the manufacturing process of a commercial paint, and the cost may actually be comparable or even lower, added Ruan. The key is to ensure the reliability of the paint so it is visible in a long-term outdoor application. The team is currently planning an investigation on how reliable the paint is in terms of environmental factors. It will be exposed to ultraviolet light, dust, water, and detergent, as well as being tested on realistic materials to assess how well it sticks to surfaces to gauge if it is of the right properties to replace existing paints. This is not the only ultra-white paint that is in the works. Earlier this summer, another ultra-white paint development team was announced, which is currently being investigated for commercial use.
Neat. All right. Do you want to do one more, or do you want to just jump into email? It's up to you.
No, just jump into email, or unless you have one more.
No, I don't know.
Not really.
All right. Email. I'll just switch to graphic. Question for the show. Hello, FurCast. I am writing you, hoping you could give me some advice. Sometimes when people ask for advice, I'm just like, why would you ask us? As Mariski's thing falls. I'm glad you think we'd be good at advice, but I have been a furry for a few years now and consider myself active in the fandom. I do art commissions, fursuits, and attend cons when I can. The issue is I have a very hard time being outgoing enough to make a lasting connection with any other furs. A lot of times I hear you talk on the show about how you meet furs by inviting them to do things after talking to them on Howler, or in talking to them at cons, meets, parties, etc. I am very socially awkward IRL and have never been good at talking to people or being as outgoing as I would like.
Well, you don't have to worry. Guess what? Because 2020 and possibly 2021.
Online, I feel very eloquent and am able to befriend people, but I'm not able to extend that to meet space, even though I really like to. Whenever someone talks to me IRL, I clam up and I can't think of what to say and I kind of panic a little bit. I guess in short, how should I get over my fear of face-to-face social interaction and be more extroverted so I can befriend more furs, locally or at cons? I know this is a weird question to ask during COVID, where I can't really go out and meet people anyways, but it is an issue I've faced for a while, and the fact that I have no one to really talk to during COVID has made me think about it more than I usually do. Thank you guys. Hope to hear from you. Spin the Pink Mammoth.
Exposure.
Not COVID exposure, but...
Basically, you just put yourself in awkward scenarios and you keep doing it.
Though, last year MFF, I learned a hard lesson because MFF is a crazy place where you gotta be social, or the environment is very, 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 very social. Like I don't think it's not a con for like a very introverted person.
I feel like every con is kind of centered towards being social, at least in some
yes,
extent.
but there is a degree of how social it is. I think MFF is a very party extroverted con, whereas AC is in the middle where you can take it easily if you wanted. But if you want to party, there are parties there. But if you want to just take it slowly, just go walk around a convention center and then the dealer's den with your 2 or 3 friends in a small group, I think it's possible. Anyway, the lesson is that I force myself to be very extroverted. I'm not that extroverted. I'm just capable of being extroverted for, a couple hours and then just go back to my room or hang out with my few friends. But I pushed myself to be super extroverted and felt like I was faking it so much that I got pretty depressed for a bit. I think you just got to be comfortable with, you just got to find people you're really comfortable with and you trust a lot, and people you have few friends who have same common interests as you, and just share your interests. Work on things together.
To make those like bonds and stuff like that, you have to be in that awkward scenario of where, I wouldn't say you're faking it because you're still yourself. You're just, you're probably more introverted in the fact that, but you can be, an introverted person can be extrovert. It just, they get
Can
drained.
be outgoing. Outgoing is what you mean, yeah.
Because basically someone who's introverted gets drained from a lot of social interactions.
Yes.
Than someone who's extroverted who actually gains energy from social interactions.
Yeah.
But there's still limits to that too, because even someone who's extroverted is still going to get tired at one point in time because we're still human.
I should also add that all cons have the capability of being both social and not, right? You could totally walk around MFF by yourself in an art area and just check things out. And yeah, there's gonna be tons of people around, but like you're just kind of by yourself, kind of observing or kind of going to events. You don't really have to talk to anybody. I think the difference between a con like MFF and other cons, which you could spend entirely social or entirely not social, is the speed at which they move. And that's the problem with MFF. It's not that it's extremely social, it's just that it's so
much
big
going on.
and there's so much going on that in order to maintain the social ability you want with, let's say, the people you know, you're running around everywhere. And that's kind of the problem with a con like MFF, is that it's so quick.
Not to mention that this year had 4 different hotels. We were in different hotels across the city.
So before I forget, I had a big fear of missing out. Because there were so many things going on. I thought, oh my God, if I can't make to that thing, I'm going to miss out on being friend with this person or being, maintaining my friendship with that person. So because of the fear of missing out, I've kept forcing myself to be everywhere, and I burnt myself out. That was a mistake.
It happens. That's one of the things I've said to you from the beginning. Even from doing AC, you can't do everything. And that you just got to basically think about what you can do. And basically you're going to miss a lot of things because, again, you have panels. You have like 8 different panels. You have friends that are hosting panels. Yeah. Like there was like 10 different events that were happening at the same hour. I remember even at one time MFF. It's like, do you stick with the group that you're currently at? Do you jump away from that group so you can go see other people that you haven't seen?
I hate that feeling.
So it's like, you have to choose.
Guys, I gotta go there, but I don't want to miss you guys.
One thing I'll say is
what
that there's ups and downs of both big and small cons too, because one thing that's nicer about bigger cons, even though there's more people and you have to run around a little more, is that big cons are more focused on like big events. And so if you just want to be around furries and be entertained or like see a concert or something like that, even if it's just you or even if you're just with like one friend watching a concert, that's something you get more from actually the larger cons. Because the smaller cons, although there's less going on and although it's fewer people, that's because those cons are almost entirely social. Like you go to a small con to hang out with people, right? Whereas you go to a big con for events. Like when you go to like an Anthrocon or an MFF, the dance comp is like huge. Whereas when you go to a small con, like it's less about that. It's more about going out to eat. It's more about like chilling out in a hotel room. It's more about chilling out in the lobby. So there's kind of ups and downs to both of those. As for what you said in the email too about like, well, how do you just talk to these people? You can just say to people, hey, I'm kind of new at being social. I'm a little nervous, but like, here's my interests. And I feel like most people, especially furries,
It kind of comes off awkward though too at times.
it can. I think if you
Honestly, I just feel like just be yourself. And even if it is awkward, just go out and just yes, you're going to be uncomfortable. Like when you're trying to do something new that you're not really that good at. Guess what? That's in everything. If you're going to try something new or something that you're not that good at, what's the best way to get better? You just keep going. Like know when to pull away too. Like that would be the only thing I would say is like have bits of time where you go out and converse with people and then jump away. Don't linger, even if you think it's going well or something like that. Like you could still pull back a little bit. So you can constantly just do that to get your own feeling of how to gauge things, how to understand different end of people's like logic, how to interact with different types of people. People watch.
Yeah, I was going to say, as somebody who was diagnosed as a kid as being on the autistic spectrum, I had a lot of hard time being social in school. I used to say to my parents that the hardest class in school was lunch, just because it required the most mental energy to like try to fake being normal and having a personality and like, laughing at jokes and everything. It was just difficult. But the way that I got
fake being normal.
Yeah, the way that I got past that though, and started to really understand not faking it, right? I'm not acting like right now, but the way you get past it is by watching people and kind of understanding how social situations work, and all of a sudden you start to kind of hone in on who you are and what your
also
personality
learn by
is.
fucking up a lot. Basically, maybe other people don't see it as a fuck up, but you see it as a fuck up. So you go out and you talk with people, and you're like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that."
Yeah.
And they probably have blown it off and don't even fucking care, or didn't even notice what you've said or mistakenly said, but you do. So you're your own worst critic at that point too.
Yeah.
So
also, there's a lot of other people who are probably just like you, and so especially if you go to a con and you got some online friends, I mean, maybe don't follow them around everywhere, but like, I'm sure you can, like. I've been with like groups of people, and probably my first few cons where I was like super kind of quiet and awkward as well, and it's just like it's pretty normal. I feel like over time you just kind of pick up on the way you end up wanting to be and what social level works for you because, you say you're not very outgoing. That's fine. Like you don't have to, I mean, there are people that you see at cons that are like insane. Like they're always yelling and screaming and around people and getting drunk. And it's just like, I don't know where they get the energy for that.
extroverts. I get more energy when I'm around people and going crazy and I literally have more energy if I'm around people that are going crazy, just as me. If I have people that are like calm and like, I lose energy.
I'm a kind of guy who sits at the back corner of a party with another nerdy guy, just talking about their interest. Like, yeah, that's just me. I
can do that for a little while, but I can't. I couldn't do that for a long period of time. I feel like I'm.
And I got few DJ friends, but whenever I follow them, it's like they're always at room parties. It's like, it's fun, but it's really crowded and everybody's drinking, and like I can't have more than 2 beers.
As soon as music is playing to the point where it's hard to have a conversation, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like you can have a room party and.
Yeah.
You can have a room party that has loud music.
Yeah.
That's hard to have a conversation and to like stop in and like hang out for a little bit. But to me, like, I still like to have like some verbal communication with people than just standing next to them and being in their presence and the fact that, oh, we're hanging out.
Hanging out by just definition, but nothing more.
Yeah.
God, it's been...
Well, and also, like, there are toxic people out there who might be shitty and disrespectful and mean, but, like, if you're socially awkward, you're socially awkward. If anybody is a good furry, they will be nice to you. And, the other thing you got to remember is that when you're walking around a con and you see people in, like, a really cool costume, you can just go and talk to them. They probably put a lot of effort and time and money into having that costume so that people would talk to them. Not to mention there are a lot of people who are very socially awkward who wear a fursuit so that they appear more approachable. I've met a lot of people who are like really quiet outside of fursuit, but then they put on a fursuit and they're like crazy. So if anything, maybe that would help you out, being in a suit.
I like how Elixir says in the chat though, is I I become more like people I spend time around. So if I hang out with extroverts, I get get too extroverted to hang out with the introverted friends. Flip it around, and people think that something's happened to me because I'm not social anymore if I hang out with the introverts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things too, is like, if you have different friend groups, some people are very introverted, and if you come in with too high energy, they don't like that. It's like, oh, what's wrong? Why you have too much energy? I've been told that too. Like,
But they say I do art commissions, fursuit, and attend cons when I can. Well, it sounds like you have interests that probably other people share. So all I gotta do is strike up conversation. I mean, yeah, it's, you said you attend cons when you can. I mean, I find it hard to believe if you've attended a few cons and you truly know nobody, right? You have to at least know, I would hope, a few people. But, and there are times where I go to cons and I spend almost the entire con just with like a few of my friends, which actually drives me crazy. I usually like to kind of get out there and meet new people and, find new cute people to snug.
yeah, like I have less energy if I'm in introverted mode. I have so little energy. But if there's someone that has like high energy or is extroverted or has like that same level energy, that I literally just adapt and snap to that. So like I can go a lot crazier and go to have high energy. But if I don't have that same type of energy, then polytrovert.
Well, and it's also difficult because
ambivert is a word, actually.
Yeah, ambivert is a thing. Well, I think the other thing too is that it really depends on the kind of people you're around, right? Like I would have called myself an introvert when I was in school. But now I am social almost constantly. I mean, I'm on like Discord and TeamSpeak like almost all day. And I'm chatting with people on Telegram almost all day. Like I mean, maybe I'm not around people physically all the time, but it's like,
yeah, you got to make that distinction there. How?
But again, that's what I mean though, is it depends, right? Like, I think some people are very like grouping party social and some people are very communication social. And some people are, it's like, there's many different types of socializing and you got to find the type that works for you, right? Don't get caught up in the whole introvert extrovert thing.
Yeah, introvert extrovert is basically just this. If you're introverted, it is draining to be around others.
Or to socialize with others,
you would rather... Like, that's not to say that you don't like socializing. It's just that in its core, when you're around others, it's draining. You would rather sit and be playing a game alone or read a book alone. If you're truly introverted, you could care less about going outside. So the pandemic has barely affected you. If you're introverted, this is like every normal day for you.
Yeah.
The fact that you don't have to leave your house or go out or anything like that, that would be someone who is introverted.
Well, somebody who doesn't care, rather. Yeah.
But basically an introvert. Like what has transpired where we can't go into groups would not affect an introverted person
as much.
Yeah.
But I think
if you're extroverted, you gain energy from being around others and you crave to be around others more.
I would say I'm extroverted then.
Yeah. So look at the basic concept of what introvert and extrovert is. Extrovert, you gain more energy when you're around others.
Yeah.
Introvert, you lose. To be around someone is taxing for you. And you lose energy when you're around them.
But an introvert can still be outgoing, and an extrovert can still be awkward. Yeah.
And I don't know. One thing that I want to dig more into is that, like, let's say an introvert has this one good friend, like, and hanging out with that friend wouldn't be that draining for that introverted person.
It's fine, but they have
with that kind of relationship.
Well, usually introverted people have a more like, I'd say, demi-type level of like.
Well, I think everybody needs a bit of a mix.
Yeah, but basically, like, there's going to be exceptions to the rule of that nature. But in general, if you meet a stranger as an introvert, it is completely draining for you.
Yeah.
Whereas someone who's extroverted meeting a stranger, if the stranger has high energy, it can be completely uplifting and giving you more energy. So I try introverted and extroverted is thrown around so often that just put it down to basic concepts. Introverted people like to be alone.
Well, I would also just say in this context, it also doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like if they are, because keep in mind, this person is emailing us saying that they are lacking the kind of connection and friendship that they want.
No, I was just trying to describe introvert and extrovert as we were using it so often.
But I just mean, as far as this person is, as far as Spin the Pink Mammoth is concerned, they clearly are wanting.
I like how Tanter replies. As an introvert, I think my battery has now been overcharged.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things too. Is like I feel like anyone who's extroverted or introvert, you can get an overcharge. Like too much time alone, and then it starts to negatively impact you, and you start to lose energy. Or just as someone who's extroverted, if you're constantly running and socializing nonstop and you're never alone, it has the same overcharged feeling, and it starts to become draining.
Well, cabin fever is also real, right? Like, I work really hard to make my living environment like super cozy in the place that I want to be all the time because that's just like my hobby. I'm a very homebody kind of person, but I actually somewhat enjoy going to work sometimes because when I go to work, it kind of exposes me to what isn't mine. And then I get really excited to go home and be cozy. And so if I was trapped inside of a really nice cabin, I would probably go crazy. But being able to go out and experience
I would
the
rather
world...
be trapped in a mansion. I can be trapped in a mansion for a while.
Okay. Well, anyway.
If we have 40 rooms, like if it's a giant mansion with a huge property, pools, and like hot tubs, I'll take being trapped in a mansion.
I wouldn't. I have to travel.
I actually learned how to be okay with doing not a whole lot during this pandemic, because for past, I don't know, 6 years, I've been going to school, and I've been doing pilot license programs and whatnot. I've always been on the schedule of I'm on the dot. I have to do everything on the hour and go to sleep at midnight and then wake up to do another study. And this pandemic made me insane for the first few months because I should be doing something, but I'm not doing anything. This is driving me nuts. And it took a while to tell myself,
don't worry, you got a whole another year and 2 months.
It is okay to
come to terms with the pandemic.
Yeah, it is okay to be not productive. You should have the drive to be productive, but you should also understand that there is a limit to it if there is a pandemic going on, and you can only do so much, and you can try little things. That's why I studied some time studying IT. That was fun and great. That felt productive. It wasn't as insane as what I
Keep in mind, when we say productive, we don't just mean getting work done. We also mean your hobbies, your interests, getting to explore, getting to,
You got up and did a thing today. You've been productive.
Nowadays, I'm happy that I walked for an hour and then
Oh, that's a huge one for us.
Yeah.
That's going to be rough because Maruski and I like to take a lot of walks, and now the weather is shit.
I can take walkies anytime at any temperature. I did walkies back in minus 40 degrees Celsius. Is you who don't like cold weather that's below 18 degrees Celsius.
Damn fucking right. Fuck the cold.
I love the cold.
I hate it.
I love the moderate cold.
I honestly wish that I did like cold because I feel like I would be a lot happier. Because I straight up, I'm so uncomfortable in winter.
I went to
I like
school.
moderate cold.
I went
32 degrees to 35, all down to maybe 25 degrees, where the snow is still soft and like that, or it's just a little melty. I don't like when it gets I'd rather it be, but I'd rather it stay 30 degrees like that, 30
right
to
around freezing.
20. Yeah, I don't like when it fluctuates. I don't like when we have a 20 degree day, a negative 10 degree day, and then a 40 degree day, and then a 60 degree day, and then back to a negative
Pharaoh speaking in Fahrenheit, by the way.
negative 5 degree day.
I'll talk in Celsius. I love a bright sunny day, brisk, not a thing of moisture, minus 24 degrees Celsius. That's a great walking weather for me.
What's that in Fahrenheit?
Minus 24 is probably minus 25 in Fahrenheit.
I think it's minus 24. I think anything below zero is still just negative.
I think it converges.
Yeah, anything below zero converges.
It starts to converge toward minus 40. But they scale differently.
Oh.
Anyway, all right,
I learned that at least.
Are we done?
Minus... That's minus 22 Fahrenheit.
No, thanks. No.
I don't want that close.
I'll
take 0 Fahrenheit.
I like to exist in an environment where if I don't have clothes on, I won't die. That's what fucking
Where's the
kills
fun
me.
in that?
That's what kills me about when it's I just don't
And I completely understand because I had a pretty serious depressive episode long time ago, and I was suicidal. And one of the ways that I was gonna commit suicide was by sleeping in blizzard in the middle of the night. So yes, that proves your point. You can die in cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, that proves your point. You can die in cold.
Thanks for that.
I never thought that was possible. I just thought, you just stayed that way. Like, like someone comes and just unthaws you out, I never would have thought, any temperature technically below 90 degrees, you could die in, from being too cold.
I mean, I enjoy cold only if I got good jackets on, though.
Yeah, I prefer my 23 degrees Celsius room. Thank you very much.
Too hot. So I would like this room to be like 60 degrees. Oh, it'd be so nice. Like, where you get a chill. Like that's the nice.
Wow, did you know that different people like different temperatures based on their physical complexion? Whoa! Never would have thought.
You know what you can do? You can always add more layers, but you can't take many layers off.
You can't take more. Yeah, and if you do take them off, you'll die.
Death becomes us all. Eventually.
No, I much prefer my warm, cozy room. That's who I am.
Florida.
This is why your species is going extinct.
Too picky with weather.
Too picky with weather. Gotta learn to adapt to the cold. Then your species can survive.
Be like gray wolves.
Be like foxes. We get a winter coat. We're naturally born for winter.
Sounds uncomfortable.
Ploof. Or poof.
Yeah, we ploof out.
Learn to be poof.
I'm surprised I don't live in Southern California.
Well, you'll be burning.
You'd be burning to death. You'd be burning alive.
Depends on where exactly.
Well, it'd be 120 degrees. If you didn't have AC, it'd be pretty rough.
Yeah, it really depends.
Yeah, it depends.
But just knowing that my friends had to evacuate because they live in a...
Well, also, you'd be burning alive by fires.
Depends on where.
Well, there's a lot of areas right now in like the whole western United States that is just kind of like fire. like, but it's not just like stationary. It's fast moving fire. It's like fire sprinting. So there's that.
I'm your host, Paradox Red Wolf.
Socialize. That'll get you better at socializing. And I laugh, but it's basically like you don't start off good. And basically, you're not going to be happy with your results at first.
Yeah.
And you're going to fuck up sometimes. And you know what? You're going to notice it more than anyone else does because we're our own worst critics. And someone else probably doesn't even care that you screwed up a word or you mispronounced something or you did something like that. And it's probably not even on their mind, but it's going to be on yours. But guess what? This over time, as you socialize with people more and more, you get better at it.
And sometimes you just got to reach out anywhere, somewhere. I reached out to when I first moved to this region of North America, from the prairies. First thing that I did was I went on Facebook, went on Local Furries Network and a Facebook page, and said, "Hey, I'm new here. Can somebody show me the ways around here?" And this guide brought me to McDonald's. We talked, and then the next time we talked, he got flirty, and I sucked his dick. That was my first dick suck ever.
I love the chat. Paradox could visit Australia, so Australia came to us.
I just want to point out, I was going to visit Australia and New Zealand for a second time, and that flight got canceled because COVID.
So Australia's fires came here to so you could feel more at like you were in Australia, but without ever leaving.
California is on the opposite side of the country of us.
I know, but it's making its way this way. It has a long way to travel.
Okay.
It's been trying to get closer to you. Australia's like, I'm here.
I'm in Heroes Paradox Red Wolf.
Up in your cold-loving tigers.
Excuse me.
Maruski.
Excuse me.
What?
When do you go second?
Okay, I will reverse that.
Excuse me. I've been your fabulous Blue Fox host, Pharaoh.
And I'm your cold-loving tiger, Maruski. Mao.
Excuse me.
Thanks.
They will clip all of your mics.